Welcome back to the vlog and welcome back to Papua New Guinea. My name is Ryan. We're heading out on just like a 25-minute flight out to Mariwaka today to drop off some medical supplies. So let's go ahead and get started. Here's on, fuel pump on, and start. Up quick, over 14%. Oil pressure's coming up, starting into the green already. Launch my NG, making sure that it's coming up over 35%. Making sure my ITT is just coming up at a nice slow rate. Right, start's done, igniter's off, fuel pump back to standby. Disconnect the start cart. Once the start cart's out of the way, we'll push our prop forward. Fuel caps and selectors are good. Our controls are good. We'll leave our TAWs enabled for the time being until we get out there. We're in Zulu today, so I'm going to go ahead and throw my radar on standby, get the gimbals going, so it's not just flopping around in there. Our flaps are set, indicated, verified at 20.
Would you accept me left?
I'm going to go out at 9,000 today. And just taking a look at my weight, we're 6750, so our rotate's going to be 61 and 72 if we had to come back in. Our VRAP would be 71 and 62 for rotate. No, it's only 8 in the morning. The sun is still bright today. And guys, I just got these new sunglasses. If you guys are interested in helping out the channel, go check them out on my website. They're on sale right now. They are actually pretty cool. They've got like glass lenses. They're non-polarized, so they're not going to mess you up with any of your screens. They're metal frames, scratch resistant. They're actually really, really nice quality. Definitely on par with my $300 Versace glasses that I normally wear. Right, generator on, alternator on, aux bus on. Our B2 is on.
Cleared up nicely. Full 0.
And let's get our blowers going. Alright, trimming aboard. We'll do a board up there. Let's give them a call tower. Good morning, Garoga Tower, November Tango Zulu. Request taxi Mariwaka, 1 POB.
Tango Zulu, taxi 17 left on the bed track lineup, 1019er, time check 10.
1019er, clear to backtrack lineup 17 left, November Tango Zulu. Right, taxi light, landing light on, and as we get onto the runway, we'll throw our strobes on as well. Yeah, so on this flight this morning, I'm heading out to Mariwaka. Like I said, I'm dropping off a bunch of medical supplies. For there, I don't really know what's in them, but then I'm heading on down to Port Moresby directly after that to pick up some missionaries that just returned to the field. Alright, governor check is good. Alright, well, if we're not 50 knots by our taxiway that I just pulled out of, I'm going to go ahead and abort, full reverse, heavy braking. We'll just go straight ahead. If we are going off, we'll cut off, pull off, and shut off our fuel. Back our door. After takeoff, pitch for 85, immediately consider EPL, emergency power lever. If that doesn't work, then I will feather it. 80 full flaps when need be. Cut off, pull off, and shut off emergencies. Call power.
Go 56 miles south, 7 miles 500, shuttle climbing for 10,000 to depart over the Asaro South gap.
Right, because it is sort of an instrument departure today, I might be able to wiggle my way through. I'm just going to go ahead and quickly put in our standard instrument departure. Even though it looks like I'll be breaking out probably around 7,500. Right, ignition, inlet, and lights. 20 degrees, so 1390 for 1440, and the reason I'm doing 50 below what the actual chart says is because I have it in bypass. November Tango Zulu, ready for departure.
Tango Zulu, Mike Echo Whiskey, 6 miles now, 7,500 on climb 10,000. Heading towards Asaro South to track west. Left hand, clear for takeoff.
Go for takeoff, 17 left, left-hand turn, and copy Mike Echo Whiskey, November Tango Zulu. Alright, igniters, inlet and lights are done. Ignition condition, flaps 20, fuel and harnesses. Checklist is complete. Rotate 62. Alright, 1390. Alright, airspeed is alive. There's 50 continuing. There's 62 and rotate. Looks like now that I'm up here, I could probably wiggle my way through, but we'll see. It looks like the clouds are only up to maybe 1,000 feet or so. Not that high at all. I've got my ITT at just 740, which is the top of the green arc right here. And normally I pitch out around for 85. I'm just keeping it at 90 right now, so I can just go right underneath of these clouds, and now that I'm through them, I'll pop up over top of them. Alright, over 85 knots, and climbing we'll go 10 degrees of flaps. Over 90 and climbing we'll go 0 degrees of flaps and bring our prop back to 2,000 RPM. That's just going to be our cruising and our climb setting for our prop. And that brings our ITT right down to 720 without actually having to do anything with the power settings. A pitch for around 100 knots on our climb, and then make our call to tower. Stroke tower, November Tango Zulu. Departed time 16, tracking 146 on climb 9,000. Estimating Mariwaka 42.
Tango Zulu. 15 miles, contact Moresby 1207. 6622
1207, 6622 or 883715 to the south, November Tango Zulu.
November Tango Zulu. What's the tops of the row stratus?
Tops are around 6,700.
Roger, thank you.
You can see my altimeter setting is just flashing here as I go through 7,000 feet. That's just a reminder to change this. About 10 below is usually what it is, to the local, like the area QNH instead of the local one. So once I switch over to Moresby here in a second, they'll let me know what it is. But other than keeping it at the other one, it's about 300 feet difference. Then I'd get up to my altitude, and then I basically got to reset it. So on a nice VFR day like this, I just automatically reset it down below 10 notches. And that's really, really close to what it is, so I'm not having to make big adjustments. I'm just gonna throw my autopilot on heading mode. And then hit my nearest down here, and that lets me know how far away I am from Goroka. So at 15 miles to the south, I need to contact Port Moresby. 120.7 or 6622 on my HF if I can't get a hold of them on VHF. So someone in the comments, maybe a couple of videos ago, had asked me, hey, do you talk to yourself, like, even when you're not making a video, if you're just flying by yourself? Do you talk to yourself, and do you recommend other pilots talking to themselves as well as they fly? And yes, to be honest, I do talk to myself. Probably not quite as much as I do for your videos, but I do talk to myself, talk through procedures and things so that it's really solidifying it in my head what I'm supposed to do. There is science, there has been studies done, you know, showing that that actually does help. I guess almost like prep your brain on what you need to do. So especially for like instrument stuff, I'm always talking it out loud so that it's already kind of like fresh in my head the next step I need to do. And I do the same here. Like if I'm going out there, I'd be like, hey, you know, I'm 10 miles, 5 more miles, I need to go ahead and call up Port Moresby or different things like that. So yeah, if you are in flight training or whatever, even if you're not in flight training, I still highly recommend it because I think it's a really great tool for myself to stay focused. I'm not the type of person that stays focused very easily, but that helps me really kind of like filter out all of the distractions and stuff, and it helps me say, okay, what is the very next thing I need to do? Let's talk about it amongst ourselves, me, myself, and I. All right, 500 feet to go. I just hit my vertical speed and my altitude select on my autopilot, so it will just start leveling off on its own. Looks like 900,000 is going to work just perfect today to get into the Mariwaka. I've been down to this area quite a few times in some of my other videos, but I've actually never landed at Mariwaka for a video, so this is the first time that you guys will get to see this location. All right, we're just now leveled off at 900,000. I'm just going to bring my power lever back, which brings my torque back to 1,250 foot-pound of torque. And then just making sure that my prop RPM is right at 2,000 or as close as I can get it. Should be able to get right on it. Okay, so I'm using the ForeFlight app today. This is our own user content that you can see that I've uploaded because they don't have any charts on ForeFlight for Papua New Guinea, so we've uploaded them ourselves. And we left out of here at Goroka and heading down to Mariwaka, so it's going to go right in like this and then over. We're going to go through a gap and then around the corner into it. So we've got some time now. Let's go ahead and bring up our strip chart. So Mariwaka elevation, basically I'll put down 5,800, so 6,800 feet is what I want, so I can even set up my descent profile down to 6,800 feet just so I don't have to look it up again. Now I'm not actually setting up a descent profile, I'm just basically putting the altitude in there so I don't have to look at it again. We're going to be landing, it's just a one-way runway, so it's a left-hand pattern. But you kind of like follow a ridge along, and then it's kind of like just a quick, you know, basically downwind to final. It's just a 180 right back around, but then final is fairly long coming in. Committal is quite a ways out though, because it is a fairly narrow valley going all the way up. But really once we cross over the river, really kind of for the first time, that's where my committal is. And what I mean by committal, a lot of people are confused by this, is they're like, oh, well, it looks like you have tons of room to like maneuver and get out of there again. Well, the video is definitely wide angle, and it does not give you the correct perspective that I'm seeing. And depending on how heavy you are and how much fuel you have on board. So today, I'm fairly heavy because I'm going down to Port Moresby, and I fueled for all the way there and all the way back as well, so I don't have to waste my time fueling in Port Moresby. So I'm fairly heavy today, so I will be having my committal basically once I get over the river. At that point, I cannot safely get back out of there. Yes, I might be able to get back out of there, but I'm saying safely, this is my safe committal point. At that point, I'm committed to land no matter what. So that's what that means. It's just a 3% slope, but it's super long, 920 meters long. They did not last, let's see, it was like a month or two ago, we had another pilot go out there that wasn't able to land because of the long grass, but I think they've cut it since then. But I'm going to check that before I commit myself to land. So it looks like touchdown elevation is actually going to be 5650, so I'm going to change that to 6,700 feet for my pattern altitude. Moresby 120.7, November Tango Zulu. I've been having a hard time getting all of Moresby today. Now I'm 30 miles. Let me try up on HF again. Moresby 6622, November Tango Zulu.
November Tango Zulu, Moresby 6622.
Yeah, morning apologies, no contact any other frequency for a while. November Tango Zulu, 30 miles to the south, Goroka, maintaining 900,000, estimating Mariwaka time 3:08.
Tango Zulu, Air 1008, reading you 40 here.
Reading string 31008, November Tango Zulu. If you are a flight simmer and you would like to fly this exact same route on Microsoft Flight Simulator, X-Plane, or whatever else you guys use, I have this same route on my Patreon page. I'm going to shoot a video out here this morning. I have a little bit of time. I'm going to throw up my drone and just show you around a little bit, just on the ground, kind of the parking area and whatnot. I don't have time to walk around the whole village. But if you're interested in seeing like on-the-ground content at the places that I go to, typically I try to make a video for every place that I go to and put it on my Patreon page. So check out the link below if you're interested in supporting the channel, or if you're just interested in just seeing more aviation content or content regarding Papua New Guinea or whatever else you're interested in. So you can see right ahead of me, I've got this just kind of an overcast layer, and it goes right up to the base of the mountain ridges. And then it looks like there's more clouds on the other side of those. My guess is, because it's a valley, this is really at the end of the valley, it opens up and goes all the way down there, down towards the Gulf area. So let me just bring this up for you. So the valley itself, let me just draw the line of where it actually goes, is like that. So we're seeing a bunch of clouds right here, and I think I'm seeing a bunch of clouds right there, but I'm thinking that the actual valley itself is going to be open. We had called out here right before I left, and the guys out there said, oh yep, blue skies over top, should have no issues getting in, so we'll see. I had turned my altitude select down to 6,700. And one thing, if you are flying the G1000, and if you're struggling with turning final at 500 feet or too low or whatever else, you can set it up for places like this that don't have a lot of, because it's over the open valley where I'm going to turn final, and there's not like the specific point. I can set this up in here, and I can put in my timer reference, come down to my minimums, turn them on, and then turn it up to whatever I want to be turning my final altitude at. 56, so touchdown was 5650, so if I put it at 6150, 6150, you go right down to it. Betty over the radio, or over the headset, will say minimums right when I need to turn my my final leg. So that's something that you can do. I also like using this in bad weather, even if it's just kind of crummy weather out here at these kind of bush locations, or if there's a lot of clouds that you're dealing with and your eyes are outside a lot and they're not really focusing on what's going on here as much. It's a really nice just auditory cue to go, hey, I'm already at my minimums, I'm already at my 500 feet where I want to turn final, and I'm not where I want to be, so I just need to hold my altitude. So that's one really nice thing about setting it up in like that. So here's the Mariwaka Gap. It looks like it's going to be clear on the other side like I thought it was, so I'm going to start my descent now. Check our selectors and our brakes. We'll turn TAWS off now that we have autopilot off. And check my weight. We're 6,600 pounds. So our approach speed is going to be 71 knots.
Vertical track.
There's Betty letting know it's time to go down. Engine inlet to bypass and landing light on. Like we had previously talked about my go around, if I do need to go around, it's really at the river, and it's going to be a sharp right hand turn out, power up 20 degrees, and pitch for 73 and reset torque to 740. Heading on 03. Okay, we're landing on 03, hit my OBS, turn it to 030. Put a nice line right here. Gives me a quick indication on the orientation of the runway, which really helps with mountains, and especially because you're not flying this nice little like rectangle box where your pattern is kind of like this angle along this ridge and then a quick turnaround. This will be really helpful today. So I'm going to check the grass as I fly over.
500.
Or just 4 miles. Moresby 6622 November Tango Zulu in the circuit Mariwaka. Report after landing.
November Tango Zulu, follow in on the ground.
November Tango Zulu. Alright, reduce my power, push the prop forward, deck up to 2,200 RPM. Harness is done. This is my seatbelt harness for a lock. We have flaps to go and SAR to go. Alright, I'm going to go up here, make a left-hand turn. I'm going to remain at this altitude for the time being until that way I can get over top of this ridge safely. And 10 degrees of flaps. Want 71 on final, 81 on base, and 91 on downwind. Alright, from here, it looks like the middle of it looks good. Touchdown zone definitely looks good. Looks like it's a little high on the sides. But it looks like all the way down the middle, it looks like it's been cut. Alright, now we're dropping down to 6,700, which will be my downwind. And the nice thing also is I can look at this, my baro, and it says 6150, so I can remember where I want to actually turn my final. Alright, 20 degrees of flaps. For 91 knots on downwind, we'll just hug this ridge all the way down till we get down to those pine forest up there, and then we'll make a 180 for a final coming in. Really, really beautiful valley right here. Bunch of cliffs. There's a waterfall out here and this nice little kind of horseshoe, like a cliff horseshoe. Really cool. Alright, there's 6,700. I'm going to descend around 6,400, lose 300 feet on my downwind. Then kind of 200 in my turning base to final. Just scrape over the top of these trees here. There's that waterfall over there. That's really awesome. Alright, full flaps. Checklist is complete. Now I'm dropping down to 6150 and my base to final turn. And also slowing down to 71 here in a second. Alright, turning final.
Minimums.
There you go. That's what I wanted.
500.
Looks good. I'm slowing to 71 knots. Just from airspeed, power for altitude. I'm going to put on a committed spot. Looking at my vertical speed to make sure that I'm kind of on my descent profile that I want. A little flat on this one, to be honest. Alright, this is the river. This point on, we're committed to land. One knot of headwind. And I'm a bit fast. Alright, now that my speed's under control, looks good. Actually looks a lot better cut than I thought. Kind of land a little bit of a downhill and then kind of just flatten out and then very, very slightly go back up. Alright, low idle, and we'll get our flaps and everything ready for takeoff here in a second. Hope you guys enjoyed that flight. It was just a quick one out here, but this is Mariwaca. If you did enjoy this video, give it a thumbs up. Sure does help my channel grow. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch, and you all have a great day. Moresby 6622 November Tango Zulu on the ground, Mariwaka, cancel SAR.
November Tango Zulu, Mariwaka South terminated.
November Tango Zulu. Alright, blowers off, landing lights off, everything else is off, cut off, and feather. Thanks again, guys. Have a good one.